Welcome back to Crypto Ledger. This is Nathan. We are doing a quick update on the status of the digital asset industry, which if you've been following this, you know, I don't have to tell you that everything is just screaming right now. All right, bring this up. So Bitcoin's at 97,000 today, Ethereum 35, almost 3,600. XRP is sitting at 179. And let's take a look real quick at where XRP has been over the past day or two. In fact, the 7-day, we were looking at 161 down into the 130s, and then it's back up to 170. Actually hit over 180 today, and this is the highest it's been in quite some time. We busted the 100 billion market cap as well on this today, so it's pushing Solana. Solana's at 114 on market cap, and XRP is around 101 billion. So we're keeping an eye on that. Dogecoin 41 cents. And Cardano at 106, and then we're looking at Stellar. We've been keeping a sharp eye on Stellar at 53 cents. And let's just take a quick look at what Stellar has been doing. Stellar was 48 cents earlier today. Has gone up as high as nearly 56 cents and right around, pushing around 53, settling in for this afternoon. So this is great. We're seeing some good movement in the digital assets that we follow. And you know which ones we follow if you've been following this channel, and that's the utility coins, XRP, XLM, XDC, three of the main ones we look at. And then, of course, there's others as well. The first article we'll look at is from Smoke Dog on X.com, and he puts out this hedge funds will be investing more in crypto over the next few weeks. Key findings, digital asset investments rise as regulatory clarity, we've been looking for that, and ETFs boost confidence, nearly 47%. Nearly half of traditional hedge funds surveyed this year have exposure to digital assets already, up from 29% in 2023. Okay, so this is big. The hedge funds, when they get in this game, they've got a lot of money to play with. And I think that's one reason we've seen XRP and XLM and some of these others do very well over the last couple of weeks since the election has taken place. In fact, let's go back over to coinmarketcap.com because I want to show you something. Let's just take a quick look at Stellar. And I want to show you the 1 month on Stellar. It started off at 9.4 cents. This is prior to the election. And it was just hanging around 9 and 10 cents for a long, long, long time. And then after the election, we see that it took this massive jump. Okay, so the increase in 1 month, it's right here where my cursor's at. 466%. in the last 30 days. That's what Stellar has done, XLM. Unbelievable. Let's go back to XRP and take a look at what it's done in the last 30 days as well. Last 30 days, 243%. Just really, honestly, XLM has been the front runner as far as just percentages of growth over the last 30 days. And this is post-election. Probably, I think it may be the top one. And I don't want to discount XLM at all. In fact, I plan on doing just a single standalone video on this channel on XLM and explaining a lot about it because I think it's going to be the #2 coin in the new digital infrastructure. I know there's some people that think XLM will be more valuable than XRP down the road, but the thing about XRP is, and I want to bring this out in some of our articles today, XRP is the world's reserve currency. And so I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that XRP is going to be utilized in cross-border payments around the world from here on for a long, long time until they come up with something better. Let's take a look next at what the Citibank is saying concerning cryptocurrency and cross-border liquidity. This is a very interesting 30-second clip. I think you'll find it enlightening.
So now what we can do is we can move tokenized deposits around Citi's corridors. Right now, it's just US and Singapore with aspirations of adding another 3 to 5 in the next near term. Well, it's great that we have this internal token, but our clients don't want a Citi token or another bank token. What they want is cross-bank, cross-border liquidity. So it's key that now that we have the infrastructure of the platform built internally, we work with like Regulated Liability Network and other parts of business about how do we solve these difficult issues as an industry.
What she's saying here is that they've got their own in-house cryptocurrency. A lot of banks already do. The largest banks have been developing behind the scenes. They don't want you to know about it because they don't want you to invest in cryptocurrency until they think it's time for you to invest in cryptocurrency. And then what they're going to do is they're going to try to sell you on their products. Now, if you've been following this industry for very long, these large banks have done a really good job of trying to hide the fact that they're in the game. They've been trying to hide the fact that they're in the crypto business, but they are. And she admits this right here. So she says that they have a city token, and that's an in-house token. What's that mean? Well, BlackRock has their own token. JP Morgan has their own cryptocurrency or stable coin. She's saying here that Citi also does as well. And so all of these large banks are going to have their own digital coin. But what she's saying is that the market is going to demand cross-border liquidity and cross-bank liquidity. And that's where XRP comes in, because it fills that void very effectively.
Our long careers, but it does feel like we're in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime shift. The architecture of finance, and by that I mean global currencies all the way down to payments, lending and deposits. It's unbundling bit by bit, and it's rebundling around a new, largely digital architecture. And this happened in trading over the last few decades, and it was an evolution. But what we're seeing now is more of a revolution, with new architectures supplanting old ones. And the way our industry has operated for decades, it's going to be replaced with new ways. And the scale and the speed required to serve our clients, it's of a completely different magnitude. So here at Citi, where we move over $4 trillion globally each day, where we enable clients to issue payments in 144 different currencies, where we do business in more than 160 different countries and are on the ground in nearly 100 of them, well, we have a deep appreciation for scale and agility. And we're seeing how the world is becoming more global and more local at the same time, and how it's becoming faster and how it's becoming more complex. We're reshaping our firm and our exceptional assets so that we maintain our relevancy and we continue to deliver for clients. Swift, as the community that underpins global flows, must make the same journey. Not just talk about it, but actually accelerate action. Because if traditional payments remain slow and comparatively clunky, as they are today, then it's a huge incentive for others to develop alternative, large-scale global payment systems that could be cheaper and much faster. We simply can't afford the regulated sector to be perceived as technologically deficient to the unregulated sector, and that's why we must relentlessly modernize our regulated financial system through public-private partnerships and through communities that bring our industry together, such as Swift.
She really put all this in great perspective for us. I just took a few notes while she was talking. Once in a lifetime shift, unbundling and rebundling. She basically talked about completely undoing the way they do banking and rebuilding it around a digital ledger technology. She talked about a revolution in the banking industry. She talked about the old replacing new with new architecture. And she said scale and speed is completely different. The customer base is going to need a completely different product than what they're used to now. She said that they're becoming more global and more local at the same time. In other words, the world is getting smaller, and they are having to reshape the way they do business to maintain that business. In fact, she said they're reshaping their own assets. That means they're creating their own cryptocurrencies and their own digital assets in-house. Swift is slow and clunky, she said, and that's absolutely the case. It needs to be replaced with something fast and efficient. Well, guess what? That's where the XRP ledger comes in, and XRP as a super DEX or a unified ledger system, which bridges all of these gaps, which she's talking about in this video. A fine interview, which explains a lot in a very short period of time. At the Global Islamic Economy Summit, we had the same narrative being talked about from the people that were attending this conference. It's much the same. Let's take a listen to this video.
Buy and sell and make quick gains out of it? Does it hurt the growth of cryptocurrencies, that usage for a quick buck?
So I mean, it's kind of chicken and egg. You have to create a marketplace. And right now we have about 150, 200 exchanges around the world that trade in XRP. A lot of it, as you say, is very shallow trading by individuals. And that is not the use case that we are pursuing. What we are pursuing is the use of XRP as a financial asset by sophisticated institutions as a bridging mechanism. So does this hurt or harm? Well, it creates a lot of noise. And, we certainly don't want that much noise, but we're waiting. And for example, this last quarter, the bulk of XRP sales were to institutional investors. And as this transitions away from retail to institutions, we'll start to use it for wholesale. Last quarter, the bulk of XRP sales were to institutional investors. And as this transitions away from retail to institutions, we'll start to use it for wholesale, financial usage. That's when the turning point will come.
I hope you heard what he had to say. He said the use of XRP as a financial asset. He talked about individual investors like you and I have driven the bulk of the growth of XRP to this point. And then he said, when institutional money starts coming in, it's going to take it to another level. He said the bulk of our sales have been in institutional sales the last few months. That's where a lot of this growth is coming from. I've got to replay just a little bit. I want you to pay attention exactly what he says here regarding institutional investors.
And for example, this last quarter, the bulk of XRP sales were to institutional investors. And as this transitions away from retail to institutions, we'll start to use it for wholesale, financial.
Okay, so there it is. The bulk of our sales the last quarter have been institutional investors, and he's talking about moving away from the retail investor into institutional investors, and then they're going to see a change in the way XRP is priced. This is a really good interview, and it shows you, just like Crypto Sensei here is the one that posted this video, DeFi on the XRP ledger is to explode. The reason for that is because the institutions now are going to have XRP to move money cross-border. And when they come in mass and start buying XRP, the little guy that's buying $100 worth or a few $1,000s worth is not going to be, these banks are going to be buying multi-millions of dollars worth, if not billions of dollars worth. That's going to change the landscape for the XRP prices. According to Doyle, one of the biggest catalysts for XRP's rise is the ongoing transition in global financial systems. It's exactly what the gentleman said in the last interview. He pointed out that Ripple has secured major partnerships with several Latin American banks, positioning XRP as a leader in cross-border payments. That's just one of many banks around the world that they have partnerships with. It says in a recent video, Doyle highlighted XRP's recent surge past a critical 7-year resistance levels as a key indicator of its potential for explosive growth, and it makes it one of the most promising assets in the crypto space. I'll comment on that in a moment. Furthermore, he discussed the theory suggesting that the FedNow payment system could use XRP for instant transactions via various partners. However, this remains unsubstantiated. We don't know this absolutely for sure that XRP is backing FedNow, but I'm going to bet personally. I would personally bet that this is the case, but I can't prove it yet. Doyle also examined broader trends in the cryptocurrency market, including growing institutional interest in crypto and the shift toward tokenized value. Moreover, he spoke of the increasing likelihood of a gold-backed currency system. There it is, folks. The increasing likelihood of a gold-backed currency system with XRP serving as the bridge for these new gold-backed assets. Now, if you followed our channel and some of the other channels that are popular in this space, you know we've been talking about this for some time, going back to a gold-backed dollar instead of the fiat system that we have now. We need to be on the lookout for how this transition is going to take place in the near future, I think. I'm not sure how the fiat system is going to come down, if it's going to crash, if it's going to be a slow, easy transition into the new gold-backed system. It remains to be seen what's going to happen. But I do say this, it'd be wise to keep your eyes open to what's taking place in the financial markets in the very, very near future as this year comes to a close. This small interview from Abu Dhabi Bank's general manager reveals they reached out to Ripple, stating that XRP addresses all of their banking challenges. That's not new news to us, is it? But it's interesting to listen to these gentlemen all say the same thing. Let's take a listen.
So what we have done is we had our customers coming to us and asking us, saying, how can we better these things in terms of turnaround time and how can we improve turnaround time? Today, the payment takes anywhere from 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So that's when we started looking at how to innovate our turnaround times for the customers. And we started looking at blockchain as a technology and Ripple as a vendor who can do it. And that's how the whole idea started. Yes, the specific problem we focused on was initially we were looking at how to connect our branches. So we are present in so many countries, we have so many branches. So when a customer makes payment from our NBAD UAE account to, say, an example, NBAD Oman, how can we solve that problem? And how can we give them almost real-time payment back to the beneficiary and the end-to-end customer service levels increase and our customers are happy? So that was the business case we picked up, looking at and our compliance and all the stakeholders were very comfortable looking at internal branches and connecting the internal branches, and that's how we did our pilot. And you have to rope in your customers, and that's where NBAD has been working with our big corporates to bring in our corporates to see the end-to-end benefits they get by going live on this system. And we're working closely with the vendors on how to improve the efficiency and overall costs, and that's where the business case comes from. We've seen initial results in terms of internally to the organization. Once we did the pilot, the team visualized what benefits they can get out of this if it is done properly. Our internal stakeholders have started visualizing the results, and it has really come out quite well. They see the benefits. Though as a pilot, we can go back and actually, once the scale grows up, once the real...
These ladies and gentlemen that are being interviewed just keep spilling the beans. I want you to notice what this man said regarding once we go live. They've done their test case. They've done their pilot program. I want to replay just a small segment. I want you to pay really close attention to what he has to say about once we go live. Now, this kind of goes in line with what we call the flipping of the switch. Is this what this means? When he says once we go live, is this what this means as far as flipping the switch? Are all banks going to go live at the same time? I don't know. But let's listen to what he has to say again.
We can go back and actually, once the scale grows up, once the real-time system goes live, I think internal stakeholders believe in this today, that this can be bought in and overall client service can be achieved. But again, the real test is once we go live and once the customers see the benefits, whether we can achieve this. This is yet to be proved, but I'm positive that...
Okay, there it is again. He said it twice. Once we go live, he may have said it 3 times. Talked about a pilot program and how well it worked, and then he talked about once we go live. I'd call that a flipping of the switch, if you ask me. He mentioned, imagine sitting with banking customers, and this is where really this rubber meets the road. When bankers will sit down with their customers, and a customer's wanting to send money across border, and normally it would take several days to do that, and they can sit down with their customers and say, oh yeah, well, we can put this order in to transfer, let's say, $10,000 to another bank in another country. And how long will that take? The customer may ask and say, oh, well, just as soon as I put this in, it'll take place instantly. And they'll be like, really? Yeah, it's instant payments now. It's instant transition now. It goes from, once we plug this in, it goes from our bank to the other bank, and it'll be there in 3 seconds. This is the type of banking scenario that people are going to be able to enjoy from here on out. This is what digital ledger technology brings to the table. And all of these stable coins, and all of these cryptocurrencies that you've been paying attention to and investing in, these are the blockchains that these banks and these central banks and these large corporations are going to be using in the future. That's why you're on the ground floor with this opportunity. It's incredible what's in front of us. I'm not going to play this video because it doesn't have any sound anyway, but just wanted to let you know from Watcher Guru on X.com, they showed that MetaMask users now in the U.S. can buy crypto using Venmo. So if you have a Venmo account and you're with MetaMask, you can buy crypto right off of that Venmo app. This is becoming commonplace. So this last interview we're going to see today is with Maria on Fox News, and she interviews Representative Mike Flood from Nebraska, and he does a really good job of explaining the role that stablecoins are going to make in the digital asset space and trying to keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency through stablecoins. And he also addresses a couple of other issues. It's a little bit lengthy interview, but he has a lot to say. So take a quick listen.
Now, President-elect Trump's team is holding discussions on possibly creating a new White House position dedicated to crypto policy. The administration wants to expand the power of the Commodities Futures Trading Commission as well by granting that CFTC oversight of the digital asset market. All of this happening as Trump gets the chance to pick the next head of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, with Chairman Gary Gensler stepping down in January. Congressman, I know you've been working on digital assets a lot, and you see major change coming. Walk us through how that plays out. What do you expect?
Well, we are going to unlock innovation in America again. This has been very frustrating under Joe Biden and Gary Gensler at the SEC, who has gone out with this power that he thinks he has to do these unreasonable enforcement actions and try and guide an industry into the ground. Today, you know, the headline is Donald Trump wants to make America a leader in digital assets. If you think of it this way, back in 1995, America unleashed the power of the internet, Web 1.0. We are on the dawn of Web 3.0, and we are riding in the backseat with countries like the UAE and the European Union and Singapore dictating to the rest of the world how we're going to treat digital assets. This is America's issue. This is something that we need to do to make sure that the U.S. dollar remains the world's reserve currency. Yeah. And with the announcements you're talking about, we're going in the right direction.
So tell me about that. How do you keep the dollar as the world's reserve currency while also creating a backdrop for growth in digital assets? What's the plan?
Well, two different approaches. One is stablecoins. And on the Financial Services Committee, we have, thanks to Chairman McHenry and Congressman French Hill and so many other hardworking members, we've put to stablecoin is backed. One stablecoin equals in continents like Africa to trade essentially in U.S. dollars using a stablecoin regime that is backed by, you know, American banks. That's what we're excited about in Congress. This isn't about replacing the U.S. dollar. It's about strengthening its power and then simply creating a market structure where regulators can say, OK, Bitcoin is a commodity. It's going to be regulated by the CFTC. This asset over here is a security, and it would fall under the domain of the Securities and Exchange Commission. We're not talking about building a fancy mansion. We're talking about building a foundation on which digital assets can exist and thrive and unlock that innovation in America that has been really offshored for so long. That's why Bitcoin ends up in the Bahamas, because they couldn't live here and be subject to real regulation. I shouldn't say Bitcoin. I'm sorry. FTX.
I love what you're saying, because you're making the rules clear. And I think the clarity end of this was one of the issues for this market to really be believed, because people weren't sure who was running it, who was overseeing it, and what the rules were. And that was because the Biden administration just threw lots of climate change agenda rules at every single agency. Isn't that right?
I don't even know what the law is on some of these subjects. And suddenly you've got an SEC investigation shutting down markets. We are nowhere near where we need to be in terms of the digital asset economy with stablecoins. And it really, thank God President Trump is here, it's really going to unlock a new era for America and in fintech.
Well, Representative Mike Flood said a mouthful in this interview today. It was just tremendous how he talked about stablecoins being front and center with their legislation. He talked about regulatory clarity coming fast and furious with the Trump administration. All of these things are going to put the United States as front runner once again. You know, he mentioned Singapore, he mentioned the UAE, and I think he mentioned the European Union. All of those are ahead of us with regulations. Guess what? Ripple's involved with all of these countries. In fact, 95% of their business is outside the United States, and they targeted Singapore and the UAE and some of these other areas of the world, Asia especially, and then also the European Union, because they did have regulatory clarity and they were able to do business with them. Now that the United States is opening up to regulatory clarity and also embracing the cryptocurrency industry, Ripple and XRP is set to really do phenomenally well, I do believe. The last article we're going to look at today, once again, from Smoke Dog on X.com, and he says institutions are noting the significance of Donald Trump meeting with Ripple. This was mentioned by the attorney a week or so ago after the election. And this is from Bitcoin Suisse publication. It says this week's top stories: the Trump administration plans to establish a cryptocurrency advisory committee to drive crypto legislation. But down here at the bottom, it says Donald Trump and his team have already met with CEOs of U.S.-based crypto companies such as Ripple, Kraken, and Circle. And so as we see all of this now becoming public, some of the things that took place behind the scenes, and we didn't know about this at the time, but now it's all coming out. And so we see here that President Donald Trump and the Ripple company has been in negotiations or talk about the future earlier this year. So to think that President Trump is in the dark with all of these things that are going on in this digital space, I think is a mistake, because I think he's known about this for many years and has also been helping to implement this new digital economy for us right here in the United States to keep us ahead of the rest of the world. And we have 90% of the business right here in the US of A, and that's a good thing. And so continue to do your research, continue to follow us here on this channel, and we'll try to bring you the latest updates to help you make good informed decisions of how you might want to proceed with your future in the digital asset space. Once again, this is Nathan from Crypto Ledger. I want to thank you for joining us today. Please like, subscribe the video, and share it with friends, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.